Welcome back to Zcoins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating areas of coin collecting. We're talking about the top 6 most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies ever discovered. These rare coins have fetched eye-popping prices at auctions and private sales. We are focusing on the 2001 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. Now you might be thinking this is just a regular penny, but hang on, because some of these coins are not just worth 1 cent. They could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition, mint mark, and certain rare errors. So let's go back a bit and understand the historical context of the 2001 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. From 1909 to 1958 it had wheat years on the reverse, and from 1959 onward it featured the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Including in the year 2001, the 2001 Lincoln penny was struck in 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Philadelphia have no mint mark, the Denver ones have a D, and the San Francisco coins are usually proof coins with an S mint mark. Now let's talk about the metal composition. By 2001, Lincoln cents were being made of a core of 99.2% zinc, with a thin layer of copper. This change started in 1982 due to rising copper costs. Before that they were mostly copper, so a 2001 penny is mostly zinc unless it's a rare error that got struck on a copper planchet, and we'll get to that in a moment. So why would a regular 2001 penny be worth more than a cent? Well, here's where things get exciting. Some coins were struck with errors that make them incredibly rare and valuable to collectors. One of the most valuable error types to look for is the double die error. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin has a misalignment, causing some elements like the date or lettering to appear doubled. If you happen to have a 2001 penny where the word Liberty or the date appears to have a shadow or doubled appearance, hold on to it. That might fetch you anywhere from $50 to over $500 depending on how strong the doubling is and how well preserved the coin is. Then there's the off-center strike. If your 2001 penny looks like it's missing part of the design, or it appears as though the coin was not properly centered during minting, that's another rare and valuable error. Coins with significant off-center strikes, especially those that still show the date clearly, can be worth anywhere between $100 to several $100s or more depending on severity. Now here's the holy grail: a 2001 penny struck on a copper planchet rather than zinc. In extremely rare cases the wrong metal planchet gets used. A coin like that could weigh about 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, and if authenticated it could be worth thousands of dollars because it's essentially a modern coin with a pre-1982 metal composition. Some examples of these have sold for over $5,000 at auction. And let's not forget proof coins from San Francisco. These are made specifically for collectors with mirror-like surfaces and are not intended for circulation. A 2001's proof penny in perfect condition can fetch a few dollars to over $20 if graded highly by services like PCGS or NGC. Speaking of grading, let's talk about coin condition. This matters more then you think. A 2001 Lincoln penny in MS65 red condition might be worth $10 to $15, whereas one in MS68 red, which is near perfect condition, could sell for hundreds. Some of these have even sold for over $1,000 if the color, luster, and strike are flawless and certified by a grading agency. But what about the regular 2001 pennies that don't have visible errors or rare features? Are they worth anything? Well, in circulated condition most are still worth face value. However, if you find one that's never been touched and still has full original red color, you might be looking at a small profit from collectors who need it to complete a set. Now let's look at what these coins are currently selling for in the market today. In 2025, a high-grade 2001 penny with no mint mark in MS67 red condition is worth between $20 and $40. A Denver mint 2000 and 1D penny in MS68 red can go for over $150, and rare errors like double dies or off center strikes can still command premium prices depending on eye appeal and grading. Proof versions: the 2001's Lincoln penny, if still in its original government packaging and uncirculated, can be worth about $3 to $5, but graded proof coins with perfect PR70 deep cameo status can sell for $50 or more on platforms like eBay or Heritage Auctions. So how do you check if you have one of these gems? First, take out a magnifying glass and look for doubling on letters and numbers. Then check if the coin looks off-centered or misaligned. Weigh your coin on a sensitive scale to see if it weighs closer to 3.1 grams instead of 2.5. That might mean it was struck on a copper planchet. And finally, consider sending rare finds to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and valuation. To sum it all up, the 2001 Lincoln penny might seem like pocket change, but in the right condition or with rare errors it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So before you toss that penny into the change jar, give it a good look. You might just be holding a tiny piece of treasure. where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today we are diving into a modern yet surprisingly valuable coin, the 2018 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might think that a penny minted in 2018 is just another ordinary coin, but stick around because by the end of this video you will be double checking every penny in your wallet, drawer and coin jar. Now let us start with the historical background of the Lincoln cent. This iconic coin has been in circulation for more than a century, making it one of the most collected coins in United States history. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln cent was the first regular issue United States coin to feature a real historical figure on the obverse, replacing the classic Lady Liberty design used on earlier coins designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The original coin featured Lincoln's bust on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. This wheat design was replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That reverse design continued until 2008, and then in 2009 to celebrate Lincoln's bicentennial, the United States Mint released 4 different reverse designs representing different stages of Lincoln's life. In 2010, a new permanent reverse was introduced, the Union Shield, which features a simple but powerful emblem symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the Union. That design continues to this day, including on the 2018 Lincoln cent. Now let us turn our attention to the 2018 penny itself. At first glance, this coin might not look like anything special. It was mass-produced, minted by the billions, and easily found in everyday change. But like many coins, the value is not just in its age or appearance, it is in the details. Rarity, condition, and error types can turn a 1-cent piece into a small fortune. The 2018 penny was minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coin has no mint mark, while the Denver coin is marked with a small d, and the San Francisco version carries an S. All 3 versions were released in circulation and collector's sets, but the San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins for collectors. What makes the 2018 Lincoln penny potentially valuable are its error varieties and minting anomalies, which have attracted the attention of collectors around the world. For example, some 2018 pennies were found with doubling on the obverse. This error, known as a doubled die, can be seen in the inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust, or even in the date 2018. It occurs during the minting process when the die strikes the coin with a slight misalignment, causing a ghost-like doubling effect. These doubled die pennies can be worth several dollars, even hundreds, depending on their clarity and condition. There are also off-center strike errors and die cracks that collectors look for. An off-center strike happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned within the press, causing the image to appear skewed or cut off. These types of errors are visually dramatic and highly sought after, especially when more than 50% of the design is still visible with the date intact. Some collectors have reported finding 2018 pennies with reverse die chips, or what is known as the BIE error. This occurs when a small raised line appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like the word BIE instead of Liberty. This kind of anomaly might only be worth a few dollars, but for error coin enthusiasts it is a worthy find. Now let us talk about grading. The condition of a coin plays a major role in determining its value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, and coins that have never been in circulation, known as uncirculated or mint state coins, are usually the most valuable. A 2018 penny in mint state, especially if it features an error, can fetch between $5 to over $100 depending on rarity and demand. In fact, in high-end coin auctions, proof examples and error coins of the 2018 Lincoln cent have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars. These sales are typically driven by collectors who are either filling in slots in their coin albums or seeking unique minting anomalies to enhance their portfolios. So what is the current market value of a 2018 Lincoln penny? Let us break it down. A regular circulated 2018 penny with no error is worth exactly 1 cent. Its value lies in its face amount. However, a 2018 penny in uncirculated condition graded MS65 or higher can be worth anywhere from $5 to $15. Error varieties, especially doubled die examples, can reach values between $20 and $200 depending on condition and rarity. A perfect proof coin from the San Francisco Mint graded PR70 Deep Cameo with no visible flaws could sell for up to $50 or more. If you are wondering how to check your pennies, it is simple. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and carefully inspect both the obverse and reverse of the coin. Look closely at the date, Liberty, the motto, and the Union Shield for any doubling, cracks, die breaks, or off-center strikes. One final tip: store any interesting finds in coin flips or protective sleeves, and consider having the coin graded by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. This can authenticate your coin and provide a certified grade, which adds value and credibility if you plan to sell or trade. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1948 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny. If you've got one lying around or recently stumbled across one in your change jar, you might be wondering if it's worth more than just 1 cent. Well, in this video we're going to break down everything you need to know from the history behind the 1948 Lincoln wheat penny to how much it's worth today and what makes it valuable to collectors. So stick around, because this could be a real moneymaker hiding in plain sight. Let's begin with a little background. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, and it replaced the Indian head penny. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolize prosperity and national growth. This design stayed in circulation until 1958, when it was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design starting in 1959. Now, fast forward to 1948. World War II had just ended a few years earlier. The U.S. Mint was still producing copper-based coins after switching from steel cents in 1943 due to wartime shortages. The 1948 penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, just like most wheat pennies from that era. In 1948, the Lincoln wheat penny was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If your penny has no mint mark under the date, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. A small d indicates it was struck in Denver, and an S means it was minted in San Francisco. Now let's talk about mintage numbers. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 317 million 1948 pennies. Denver made over 172 million, and San Francisco struck about 81 million. So while the 1948 penny is not considered rare in general, condition and special features can make specific coins worth a lot more than face value. So what makes a 1948 Lincoln wheat penny valuable? There are several key factors. First is the condition of the coin. Collectors use the Sheldon scale to grade coins from 1 to 70. A heavily circulated 1948 penny might only be worth a few cents. But a coin in mint state, that means it's almost perfect, like it just left the mint, can be worth several dollars or more. For example, a 1948 penny graded MS65 or higher, especially with full original red luster, can sell for around $15 to $50 depending on the market. If it's certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC, collectors will pay a premium. Another thing to watch out for is errors. Some 1948 pennies have doubled die errors. That means parts of the coin's design, like the lettering or date, appear doubled because of a mistake during the minting process. These errors can be subtle, so you might need a magnifying glass to spot them. If you find a doubled die 1948 penny, especially one in great condition, it could be worth hundreds of dollars. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and die cracks. An off-center coin means the image is not aligned properly, and the more extreme the misalignment, the more it can be worth. A repunched mint mark happens when the mint letter is stamped more than once in slightly different positions. Collectors love these quirks because they're rare and add uniqueness to an otherwise common coin. Let's not forget about color. Copper coins come in 3 color categories: red, red-brown, and brown. Red coins are the most desirable and are often preserved in uncirculated or mint-state condition. A red 1948 penny graded MS67 by PCGS once sold for over $200 at auction. That's a huge return on a 1-cent coin. So what's the current market value in 2025? As of right now, a 1948 Lincoln wheat penny in average circulated condition is worth between 3 to 10 cents. In better condition, say, AU or almost uncirculated, it might fetch around 50 cents to $2. But in mint state, especially MS65 or higher, values can range from $5 up to $50 or more depending on the color and eye appeal. Error coins or those with special features can easily command prices from $50 to several $100s. And remember, market demand plays a big role. Coins with certification from trusted grading companies sell for more and are easier to sell at auctions or online marketplaces like eBay or heritage auctions. So should you be checking your change? Absolutely. While the 1948 Lincoln penny is not ultra-rare, it's still an older coin with plenty of value potential. If you come across a bright red uncirculated 1948 penny, or a coin with doubling, off-centering, or any unusual features, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Even a small scratch or mark can make a big difference in value, so always handle your coins carefully, preferably with gloves or by the edges only. In summary, the 1948 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is a great example of how everyday coins can carry both historical and monetary value. From its copper composition to its classic wheat design and post-war production story, it's a piece of American numismatic history. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, the 1948 wheat penny is one to watch, especially if you're hoping to turn pocket change into profit. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of the 1956 D Lincoln wheat penny. This small copper coin may seem ordinary to the untrained eye, but it holds a surprising amount of value both historically and monetarily. You might have one lying around in your change jar or tucked away in an old coin album, and after watching this video you might just want to take a closer look. Let us start with a bit of background. The Lincoln wheat penny series, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first American coin to feature a real person's face, a major departure from the traditional symbolic designs used on earlier U.S. coins. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse featured two stylized wheat ears, which gave the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. Now, the specific coin we are discussing today is the 1956 D wheat penny. The D mint mark indicates that it was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the three mints operating in 1956, the others being Philadelphia and San Francisco. In 1956, the Denver Mint produced over 1.05 billion Lincoln wheat pennies, that is right over 1 billion, which technically makes it a very common coin. However, not all of these coins are created equal, and some specific versions or conditions of the 1956 D wheat penny are worth far more than face value. Let us talk about the composition first. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. What makes these coins special is not only their age but also the quality of strike preservation and possible mint errors. So what makes a 1956 D penny valuable? In general, circulated examples are worth just a few cents, maybe up to 25 cents depending on condition. However, uncirculated examples, or those in mint state condition especially graded coins, can be worth significantly more. For example, a 1956 D wheat penny graded MS65 by PCGS or NGC can be worth around $5 to $15 depending on market demand. If the coin is graded even higher like MS67, it could fetch between $50 to $100 or more. Now let us get into the real money. The most valuable 1956 D wheat pennies are those with errors or extremely high grades. One such error is the famous D over D variety. This is where the mint mark was punched more than once, creating a visible doubling. If you find a strong D over D repunched mint mark in high mint state condition, your coin could be worth hundreds. Even more impressive, a perfect or near perfect example in MS67 red condition with strong luster and no blemishes has been auctioned for over $2,000. Yes, a single penny worth $2,000. Just imagine that. So what should you look for? First, examine the color. Bright red coins are preferred by collectors as they indicate less exposure to oxygen over time. Red, brown and brown coins are less valuable though still collectible. Next, check for sharpness and Lincoln's features such as his beard coat and hairlines. A weak strike reduces value. Lastly, always inspect the mint mark area with a magnifier. Look for doubling or any unusual marks. Now let us talk briefly about how to preserve and grade your penny. If you believe you have a high grade coin, it is a good idea to submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. This adds legitimacy to the value and can help you sell it later on. Do not clean the coin, as that can actually reduce its value. Instead, handle it with cotton gloves and store it in a coin flip or slab. In the current market as of 2025, the demand for high-grade Lincoln wheat pennies continues to rise, especially as younger collectors become more interested in American history. Coins from the 1950s are now nearly 70 years old, and those in pristine condition are becoming harder to find. If you are wondering how to sell a valuable 1956 D wheat penny, your best bet is through online auctions like eBay or Heritage Coin Auctions. Just make sure your coin is properly graded and authenticated so buyers can trust its value. To sum it up, while most 1956 D Lincoln wheat pennies are common pocket change, a small percentage can be worth 10, 20, even hundreds or thousands of dollars if they are in the right condition or contain rare mint errors. It is always worth taking a second look through your old coins because treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Today we are diving deep into the incredible story behind the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny. This coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but some versions of it have sold for thousands of dollars, and you might just have one lying around without even knowing it. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's uncover the history, the hidden value, and the current market worth of this amazing piece of American numismatic history. Let's get started. First, a little background. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the wheat cent, was minted from 1909 to 1958, and it features the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. It was designed by Victor David Brenner and became the first American coin to feature a real person. The reverse side has two simple wheat stalks, which gave it its nickname, the wheat penny. Now focusing on the year 1957, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny was minted in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia minted coins have no mint mark, while the Denver minted ones have a small D Under the date, in total over 1 billion of these coins were minted, making them quite common in circulated condition. However, the real value lies in their condition, their rarity, and possible errors. Let's break it down. First, circulated condition. Most 1957 pennies that have been in use over the years are only worth a few cents above face value, maybe up to 10 or 15 cents depending on the buyer they are made of. 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which also gives them some melt value, though melting coins is illegal in many cases, but uncirculated coins and those in mint state conditions can be worth significantly more. For example, a 1957 wheat penny in mint state 65 red condition graded by a top-tier grading service can be worth between $5 to $20 depending on the demand and the buyer, but it doesn't stop there. There are some exceptional examples of this coin that have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's talk about the high-value sales. A 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny in mint state 67 red condition sold at auction for over $1,700. This was due to its pristine condition, bright red luster, and extremely rare grade. Collectors pay top dollar for coins in near perfect shape, especially if they are full red, which means they retain the original coppery red color from the time they were minted. Now let's talk about error coins. Error coins are where things get exciting. A 1957 wheat penny with a doubled die error, where the lettering or numbers appear doubled due to a mistake during minting, can be worth hundreds of dollars or more. Some error coins from this year include off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and die cracks. Each type of error can increase the coin's value depending on how rare and dramatic the error is. Let's not forget proof-like coins. Although no official proof coins were made for general release in 1957, some coins have proof-like qualities due to early die strikes or being struck with extra care. These can also command higher prices if verified by grading services. Now moving on to grading. Grading is absolutely crucial when it comes to determining a coin's worth. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale with higher numbers meaning better condition. Terms like red, brown, and red refer to the color and luster of the copper. Red coins are worth the most, brown the least, and red brown somewhere in between. If you believe you have a high-quality 1957 penny, you might consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Now let's talk about the current market value as of 2025. Most 1957 wheat pennies in average circulated condition are worth between 5 to 15 cents. Uncirculated ones can sell between $1 and $20 depending on their condition and color designation. High-grade examples with a red designation, especially those graded mint state 66 or higher, can fetch prices between $100 to $1,000. Rare error coins and exceptionally preserved examples have been known to reach even higher amounts at auction. Before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips if you're looking to find or sell a valuable 1957 Lincoln wheat penny. First, check the date and mint mark. Look for a small D under the year for Denver mint. Second, check the color and condition, bright red with no visible wear is what you want. Third, use a magnifying glass to check for errors like doubled dies or unusual markings. Finally, consider getting it professionally graded if you think your coin is special. In conclusion, while the 1957 wheat penny might be common in average condition, there are hidden gems among them that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Whether you're a serious collector or just curious about the change in your pocket, it's always worth taking a closer look. Today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in the American numismatic world, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny. This little copper coin might just be sitting in your collection, in your drawer, or in a jar full of spare change. And you might not know it yet, but if you have the right one, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Now let's start with the basics. The 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, which started in 1909. It features the bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, and the words "In God We Trust" along the top rim. On the left of Lincoln is the word Liberty, and on the right is the date, in this case, 1958. The reverse of the coin features two wheat ears arching along the sides of the coin, which is why these cents are often referred to as wheat pennies. In between the wheat stalks you see the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above that, E pluribus unum, a Latin phrase meaning out of many. So why is the 1958 wheat penny so interesting to collectors? First off, it was the final year the wheat reverse was used. Starting in 1959, the U.S. Mint replaced the wheat ears with the Lincoln Memorial design to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That makes 1958 the last official year of the classic wheat penny design. But that's just the start. More than 800 million 1958 Lincoln wheat pennies were minted. Most came from the Philadelphia Mint, and over 250 million came from the Denver Mint. So the standard 1958 and 1958 D pennies are not considered rare in circulated condition. In fact, if you have a worn one, it's typically worth around 3 to 5 cents, maybe 10 cents to $1 in better condition, but there's a catch. In 1958, a very small number of Lincoln wheat pennies were struck with a double die obverse, one of the most famous errors in American coinage history. A doubled die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is improperly manufactured, resulting in doubled features, particularly on the lettering. The 1958 doubled die obverse, or 1958 DDO, shows strong doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1958. This error was not widely known until years later when sharp-eyed collectors began to notice something different. As of now, only a few confirmed examples are known to exist, possibly fewer than 3 dozen. One of the most stunning facts about this error coin is its value. In a 2018 auction, a 1958 DDO in mint state condition sold for over $100,000. Yes, you heard that right, over 100 grand for a 1-cent coin. Another example sold for over $30,000 in slightly lower grade. These are not just coins, they are treasures. So what should you look for if you think you have a valuable 1958 penny? First, examine the obverse carefully. Look for clear doubling on the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the numbers in the date. The doubling should be obvious without magnification, but a jeweler's loupe or microscope will help confirm it. Be careful not to confuse mechanical doubling or die deterioration with true doubled die features. The real DDO has sharp, separate impressions, not flattened or shadow-like doubling. Now let's talk about grades and values. A regular 1958 penny in heavily circulated condition is only worth a few cents. In uncirculated mint state, the price goes up slightly, maybe $1 or $2 depending on eye appeal and luster. In higher grades like MS65 or MS66, a 1958 penny can bring in $5 to $10. If it has full red color, meaning it has not toned or turned brown, it can be worth even more, but once you add the doubling error to the equation, the price skyrockets. A 1958 doubled die penny graded MS64 red sold for over $125,000. Even lower grade examples, if confirmed authentic, can fetch tens of thousands. That is why collectors are still searching every day for this elusive coin. Let's briefly cover the Denver Mint coins. The 1958 D penny is far more common and no doubled die version has ever been confirmed for the Denver coins. So while some collectors think they see doubling, there is no known 1958 D DDO. That makes the Philadelphia coin with the doubling even more special. So how do you get your coin checked if you think you have a valuable one? The best option is to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will authenticate and grade your coin, and they're widely trusted in the numismatic community. They'll also put it in a sealed holder which protects its value over time. Before we wrap up, let's talk a little about market trends. The market for rare pennies remains strong. Demand for Lincoln cents, especially error coins and high-grade wheat pennies, is higher than ever. With more collectors entering the hobby thanks to online marketplaces and YouTube videos like this one, prices continue to rise for top specimens. So in summary, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny marks the end of a coin design era. While most examples are common and worth only a few cents, the rare 1958 double die obverse penny is a true American rarity worth thousands or even over $100,000 in top condition. Whether you're a casual collector or a serious investor, this is a coin worth learning about and looking for. That's all for today's deep dive into the fascinating history and value of the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, check your change. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching and see you next time.